Where's my sunglasses? Woo! Sure you want to be outside for this one, Moose? Hey everyone, this is Justin with Two Stall Garage. If you're new to the channel, we're working on a Jeep Liberty CRD today. We're going to do a step-by-step serpentine belt and tensioner replacement for you. If you're not new to the channel, you know that this Jeep breaks down all the time, so you shouldn't be surprised. And if you own a Jeep CRD, you should not have any surprise whatsoever that it needs maintenance. Started breaking down right in the driveway here. We're just gonna fix it outside today because it's the warmest day that we've had in a long time. Our tractor over there is gelled up, unfortunately, so I got to replace both filters. Had decent fuel in there. It was a 50-50 mix, I do believe, but unfortunately it got down to -21 and just had some problems. So the Jeep hasn't been started up and going on about 12 days. I think it should still have battery. We haven't even tried it. It does. Let's pop the hood. And I'm going to clean off the snow so that hood doesn't fall down on us. If you've seen our last Jeep CRD video where we replaced the fuel return bridge, we got our part from SasquatchParts.com. This one, same thing, SasquatchParts.com. Definitely not a sponsor, but they are who we choose to go through whenever we can. So we should have a tensioner here, and then our belt. This is a Litens tensioner. You can see right there, the number on it. And we've got our micro V-belt, KO 61130 6PK 2871. In case you guys are wondering about the dimensions or the length, there you go. And this is a Gates belt that came right from Sasquatch. We're going to be disconnecting the mass airflow sensor on it. There's one other sensor here that we're going to be disconnecting, so I'm going to disconnect the negative. Battery coming off, just the negative. We've got that three-wheeler restoration, that 85 Honda Big Red going on in the garage. So one stall is taken up, the other stall we've got some stuff that we've painted in. Got the trailer over here that I just don't want to move because I got to tie down the air compressor tank that's set to go into town to Dad. And there's just snow all over the place. It's actually melting a little bit today because of that sunshine, so that's nice. Battery's disconnected. Now what I'm going to do is bring you all the way over to this side here. We're going to go ahead and take our air filter box off. We're going to disconnect two sensors that are connected to that. That's the next step. Put our tools that we use right up here because I don't feel like walking back in to the garage over and over again. Okay, let's go ahead and disconnect our mass airflow sensor. Got a little red clip, pulls out. Now it should come right off. There it does. Move that out of the way. Grab yourself a flathead screwdriver if you've got the hose clamp holding it on like this. You should have something holding it on. I would assume it's the hose clamp. I think this is the OEM one. Alright, so that clamp is loosened up. Now this air box, disconnect it with these two clips right here. This is the top. The top will come off. Just kind of wiggle and pull. I'm going to take the filter out here just to, I'm pulling on that anyways. It's probably something that I should replace here shortly. Don't pull it all the way off because you got a clip right here, so just get it out. And then, there we go. Once it pops off, you can see your clip right here. It's another sensor. Push down and pull it. Comes right off. This is just a small one. So for the top of your air box, you just got your mass airflow sensor, and then I'm not really even sure what this one is. If you look in here, I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the mass airflow sensor right in there. There's a better view. We'll move this off to the side. Okay, now that you've got these two clips disconnected, so you get your top off, you got your two wire harness adapters disconnected, leave your tube, leave your hose clamp right here for the intake, and then just put some pressure on this and just pop it right out of your engine bay. Might have to wiggle it a little bit. There are no clamps holding this thing in. There's one. And two. You got to pull it fairly hard. Here's what you're going to have. These two are holding on. They're actually not broken. That's how they're designed to be. Or are they? Yeah, it looks like that's how they're designed to be. Then you've got this little tab where it just sits. My airbox looks okay. Once your airbox is out of the way, this is what you're left with. You can see you got your belt right here. Oh, let's see. I'm trying to see if I can see it where, if you look right down in there, I'm not sure if you can see it, but you can see some silver or metal, and that is because the tensioner belt is coming off of the tensioner. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but I might be able to just push it off just by my fingers. Let's see. Oh, very close. So we got this space to work with. The reason is we're going to take this serpentine belt off next, and then we're going to come right down here to the power steering pulley, and it's got 3 bolts. They're either 8 or 10. We're going to take that off. Once the pulley's off, we can take the tensioner out. Here's the serpentine belt tool. It's a belt tensioner tool number 67061. It's made by Evertough. I picked this up at O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and I will link this in the description. Gonna have to take my gloves off for this one. This makes your job a whole lot easier. We don't need the extension. I think it is a 15. We like to use the curl foot for this one. I believe it's a 15. Let's cover that. Go. Okay, now I'm not really able to show you guys this very well, but it's very simple, especially if you got this tool. You look straight down from dead center here, you're going to see an idler pulley. That stays. You look just to the left and you're going to see your tensioner pulley. And what we're going to do is we're just going to slide this right down with the crow's foot, just like this. I think it's a 15. We'll find out here shortly. You know what? I'm going to use a socket for this. See if that works a little better. I've done this a few times, but I always seem to forget exactly what I use. So we'll try the 15 socket. Put our crow's foot back. Face it up so you can see 15, 14, 13. It's going to be an 18, 16, 15, and this is going to be a 13. So I'm going to go with the 15. Put this back. If you've watched other videos, I always seem to drop the tools or the bolts. We don't want to do that today since we're out in the cold here. Air filter. There we go. All right, so we're gonna go just down here and get it on. Let's see if we can do that. Hops on there at the very end. That's probably enough though. Let's see. Then once you're on, you just come right over here to the right, just like this. Drops that tension off. Many of you probably already know that, so thanks for bearing with me as I explain somewhat obvious stuff. Now our belt's going to come out. You start grabbing it off. Very simple looking down in here, even if you got the shroud, which this one does. Okay, and then once you get it off just about all the way, the only thing that's going to be left hanging onto is your crank pulley. So you can get it to come off the crank pulley, and then you just got to get it around the fan. Just pull it straight up behind the fan, I should say. Don't put it in front. So there's our old belt. A little bit of wear perhaps. This belt was coming off that pulley really quick. We are going to save this one for backup just in case. You don't ever want to run old belts unless you don't have something else to use. So you might be bouncing a little bit. Just listen. I hear that one's wearing out. Okay, let's check out the idler pulley. This one is the dead center one. You come right over here. Here's your tensioner right here. Here's your dead center idler pulley. That one sounds great. Now let's listen to this one. Hopefully you guys can hear that. This one's going to need to be replaced. So I don't have one of those right now. Sasquatch was all out. Otherwise I'd have ordered 2 new ones. One is good. This one right here is good. Again, idler pulley, tensioner, idler pulley, tensioner. This idler pulley is not good anymore. Checking out our alternator, that's good. AC, that's good. As I was going to get the tool to take the bolts off the power steering pulley, I found the issue. Yes, our tensioner needs to be replaced. Yes, that idler pulley needs to be replaced, but those are not the issues. Our power steering pump is really grindy and just basically froze up. It's not solid, but when you turn it, it's like turning a bearing that's been rusted for years. I'll bring you right down in here. You can see the big power steering pulley. It should turn like this. This is the AC compressor pulley. It should do that. Now I come down here, it will not spin at all. But see, that's still spinning up there. Okay. I actually have to grab it and try to turn it. Let me show you something. Over here we've got a Jeep CRD. This is 2006. Bringing this one in the shop soon, hopefully sooner than later. It's got a blown head gasket we believe needs some work. Okay, there is the power steering pulley right down there. Check this out. Can you see that? Get you right in there. That's what it should be like. Hey everyone, well it's been about 8 days later and COVID hit our house, so we're back in the garage. I was able to get the Jeep in. Basically left off where we thought we had a bad power steering pump, but got it into the garage. I'm taking a closer look at it. I'm gonna get you down in. Right here, if I push on the tensioner, let's see here if I can pull it. It is actually hitting the power steering pulley. Right here is where they're touching. So if I push hard enough, I can get that to spin. Let it go, and it catches. So with that said, let's get that tensioner off. We've got a brand new one to put in. It's a OE Litens tensioner. And we're gonna start off by getting that out. We'll take a look at it. We're gonna take a look at the power steering pulley, make sure that's still okay. I hope it is. Got a power steering pump sitting right here. These are really hard to come by. I got this one at Advance Auto, thankfully. They were the only ones that we could find who had one on hand. So let's get that tensioner out. So to get the tensioner off, it's a 13 millimeter. Can't show you this because I gotta get my hands snuck down in here.
At first I thought it was the tensioner going bad, and the tensioner's kind of noisy, and then I thought it was the power steering pump. Thought that had froze up. Here's our bolt for our tensioner. Put it right up here. So once you get that out, you're gonna find that as much as you try, you cannot actually get the tensioner out unless you get that pulley out. It is so weird that that happened, that that's touching like that. It shouldn't be. Okay, we'll try to show you down here again. So right down here, here's our power steering pulley. It's got 3 bolts right on the outside. So to get those out, I'm gonna go ahead and put one socket through one of the pulley holes to hold the pulley in place. And then I'm gonna loosen up each one of those bolts. Just slide this right in here. I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can. This is a 10 mil, just a deep well socket. We're gonna put it right in there like that. Just gonna let it sit. And this is caught on the tensioner right now as is, but we're gonna put that support in there. We're gonna get our socket in. Okay, we're gonna try to fit our little wrench right down in here. This is our ratcheting 10. Okay, there's one that came loose. Here's our second one. We're gonna take that one out. There's 1, 2 more to go. We still got our socket down in there. This one's loose also. It's this first one that we got loose. Let's grab that one. It's kind of the best view that I can give you guys. Okay, let's go get our third and last one. It's all the way down, and here it comes. You don't have to make these knuckle busters. If you ever get down here to replace your tensioner, don't worry about over tightening your power steering pulley. It doesn't have to be. You should be able to get it on and off without a lot of hassle. And these 3 came off very easy compared to the first time. I actually have a video for a tensioner replacement, and I broke the very first socket that I was using. Here's the third, so we got 1, 2, and 3. I broke the first socket I was using, trying to get that power steering pulley off because it was really tight. Let's see if we can get our little socket out of there now. It's a definite tight fit, but nothing that's too bad. Just, here comes our 10. Again, that was used just to hold the pulley on. Now, we're both gonna wanna come off at the same time, aren't we? Here's our power steering pulley. You can see the back where it's on the power steering pump. You can see the front. It's got a little tab that it lines up on, can only go on one way. And as far as the pulley goes, looks okay. Put that right up here. We're gonna grab our tensioner out. Put that right there. We'll take a look at it in a second. But as far as our pump down here goes, let's see. I'm just listening to see if I can feel any grinding or any sort of back and forth. The power steering pump actually sounds excellent. I was kind of curious because when we bought this a couple years ago, they said they replaced the power steering pump. There's a question, do I replace the power steering pump while we're down here? Or do I just put a new tensioner back on? Let's check out our tensioner. Okay, so here it is. You can tell that needs to be replaced. And this thing is just shot. Look at this. There is hardly any tension left in that whatsoever. It is actually almost feels like it's ready to come apart, which is why you can see it's starting to separate right here. That is done. So we'll get rid of this. We're just gonna put on a new tensioner. We're gonna call it good. And I don't think we need a new power steering pump at the moment. So hopefully we'll be good to go after we get this on. One thing I want to point out to you guys real quick is this is the Litens tensioner. The difference is we put this one on and then this pulley went bad after a while, just like that. So we replaced the pulley alone, cause it to go, nice and smooth again. But then, as you can see, after a couple serpentine belts and lots of miles, this spring has nothing left in it. It's probably broken in there. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. Replace it at your maintenance interval. Don't run it longer than you need to. We did it at a time because we didn't have money to replace it, so we went ahead and replaced the pulley instead. Okay, this should be our new tensioner. 561 2022G tensioner made in Germany. This is that same Litens one. This one's brand new, of course. Nothing in the box there, except for the part we need. All right, we've seen the old, now let's check out the new. Much better, nice and tight. We've got our pin right here, which we're not gonna pull that out until we get it mounted in. So since we've got the power steering pulley out, which is sitting right over here, we're gonna go ahead and put this in. Like I said, it only goes in one way. Both the power steering pulley with your little notch right there, and then you've got your two notches here. It's only gonna go in one way. Just trying to get this to go down and in here. A little tricky. You don't get a new bolt if you order just the tensioner, which isn't a big deal. This is just the mount bolt. So we're gonna get that in there as well, and it's gonna help us line everything up hopefully here. That's what we're looking for right there. We're in the holes. We're in those two tabs that line us up. So here you can see we got our bolt that's mounting it, it's going in. This is our lock pin. We'll pull that out once we have the belt ready to be put on, or put on I should say, and it'll snug up. Let's go ahead and tighten this up. We're just going to get in there to give it one more torque here. Okay, now you can see right here we got our power steering pump. We need to put the pulley back on that, so let's do that. See if we can find a little tab. Let's see here. Where is it? Maybe it doesn't have it. I'm looking at it here. I can't see anything. So just looking for a little tab that comes out. It's flat everywhere you look. So we're just gonna line it up. All right, our goal is to line this up with the hole. Just need to get it started. Let's see how we did right there. Let's try it out. Get a little nut on there. Nope, missed. We'll see how that looks here. Nope. You missed again. It's kind of hard to do this with the camera right here, but we'll get it. Not a big deal. Oopsies. Okay, we're putting one of our nuts through. And I'm just gonna hold it, and I'm just gonna line it up with one of the holes here. We're gonna go for the top one. Can't see it, but you're just, my wrist is just in front. Use it to get it lined up here. See if we can get this on with one of the bolts, and we did. I think, let's see here. It's on kind of crooked. I feel like we're in, but I don't know. Hey, there we go, look at that. Now we're on, we got one in, let's grab the other two. Come down, we got one right here. Kind of got to move the fan blade out of the way a little bit. Start your threads, you can run them most of the way in. We got 2 out of the 3 in, last one. Now you can see all 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. Let's see if we can run that other one in a little bit further. Let's get them all run down as far as they'll go with our fingers. And then we'll go ahead and tighten them up with our wrench. And that spins nicely. Look at how close it is right here. You can see the gap. So once that tensioner started failing and separating right here, this was tight. It just started creeping onto the power steering pulley. Okay, there's gonna be a big hole down here in the pulley. Let's find that. Here it is. And now we're gonna run our 10 mil through that hole. There we go. Now let's tighten these up one at a time. See if I can do this here. One. Without that little ratchet, or without that little socket, you're not going to be able to tighten them up. There's our second one. Now let's do our third one, and then we'll go through and torque them with our hands one more time. I don't know the torque specs on them, but they don't need to be super tight. Okay, there's that one. So last torque. I'm gonna pretend that was a click right there. Next one. Click. Last one. And I don't even put any anti-seize on these, they stay. You can if you would like to use some medium strength. There we go. You can see the little 10 sitting right down here. Let's remove that. Maybe. There it is. Got it. Make sure our pulley looks good. It is not crooked. Everything looks good on it. Now, we're just going to grab onto our pulley here with our Serpentine belt tool. I think you can see that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a pair of pliers. Actually, I don't even think I need a pair of pliers. We're just going to put a little pressure on this. And then I'm going to grab that out of there, maybe. Probably hurt myself, who knows. Let's turn this around here. Let's see. I'm we'll go ahead and put our belt on and then we'll pull that off. We're gonna use that brand new Micro V belt that I showed you earlier. So just to run through, as you're looking at this, we've got power steering pulley back on, validated the power steering pump is good. We've got our new tensioner on, it's not hitting the power steering pulley. Everything else is good. One of these idlers I want to replace, so I'll just replace both of them at a certain point in time. They were out of stock when I ordered in the tensioner. Let's get our belt on here. Okay, the belt's back on. Just a little tip, if you're putting on a brand new belt, it's going to be tight. So instead of going over this lip for the alternator, go ahead and give yourself the ability to put the last part of the belt on one of your idler pulleys that's smooth, doesn't have a lip. That's going to make it a lot easier for you to get that on. Let's go ahead and put our Serpentine belt tool away. We're going to get our air box back on, connected, put our cover back on. We're going to fire it up. Air box goes on the exact same way it came out. Inlet hole is going to be facing front. Got a couple tabs down here to put in place. Got the top of your air box. It's definitely time to replace our air filter. We'll do that. We aren't going to show you that. We're going to go to town and pick up one of those. Our battery's disconnected. We've got two connectors here. Connect them after you get it on, or it's up to you, I guess. Let's get our air filter in here. Got a few tabs on the back, 1, 2, 3, 4. Get those in the top of the air filter box so that we don't have any holes. Just kind of sits in there, little awkwardly. Push your air tube back on. One clip, two clips. We gotta find the tabs on this here so that way it doesn't just go all over the place. Here's our connectors, run them underneath the AC hose. One connector, next one. There we go. And you can get this thing. And there we go. Now it sits nice in there. Okay, let's tighten up our breather hose. Okay, we've got our engine cover here, but before we put this on, we just want to make sure everything's good to go. So we got our air box on, we got our two connectors on. Battery's still disconnected. We'll go ahead and connect that up. And we'll tighten that up. Before we do that, we made sure we had the right routing for the belt. Brand new belt, brand new tensioner, should be good. Let's make sure everything is ready to go. Check. And tighten that up and then we'll start it up. All right, couple quick test fires to make sure the belt's in line. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Everything looks good. Everything looked good, sounded good, everything's on, working appropriately. We did pull that pin out, obviously, otherwise the belt wouldn't be snug. Let's go ahead and put our engine cover on and call this a day. We did not end up using our power steering pump because it was a tensioner that was bad, causing a problem. Tools are all cleaned up. Everything is good to go. Well, thanks so much for hanging out again today. I do appreciate it. Lots of Jeep CRD videos. I apologize about that, but if you've got a CRD, maybe it's helping you out. I hope so. We've got lots of other projects coming up. We still got to work on this three-wheeler. Well, we really want to get that done soon, so we're going to keep hammering away at it. As for now, our Jeep CRD is going to be back on the road. We'll pull it out real quick and let you watch that. And hopefully we see you guys in the next episode. So check us out on Facebook page if you want. It's at 2 Stall Garage. Check us out on Instagram at 2Stall Garage LLC if you want. Everything we do it here in this little 2-stall garage out in the country. Not a whole lot to it, but we use what we have. Have a good day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.